Hi people. Chad sent me an email the other day and he asked for me to give a rundown on my traditional woodworking top 10. I told him I'd be happy to. So give you a little show of what I use, what's near my bench, and generally they're no more than 2 steps or a step away from me, and I keep them real close. And it makes life easy. With these basic 10, I can do just about anything. Any type of joinery, any type of cabinetry, box, on and on. And they're just the basics. So if I was to grab a large toolbox, I would fill it with these items and off we could go. We could do about anything we needed to. Okay? So bear with me and stand by for the show. Number 1 on my list, guys, is my Dozuki saws. Okay? I use these because I just like the way they cut. They cut true and the kerf is very thin. The American saw has a backer as well, but the saw plate is a lot thicker. It cuts on the push. The Eastern saws, they cut on the pull. They're much thinner. You get a lot smaller kerf. The reasoning behind it, if you take a blade of grass or a piece of paper and put it between your fingers and you pull on it, it pulls straight and true. The American, you would have to push on it and it buckles up. I believe you get a straighter cut, you also get much finer cut, and you can do finer joinery. And this is my go-to saw for most everything. I'll give you a little demo. Chisels are my second thing. They're your friend. Good bench chisel, fine edge. I keep a gouge around for sweetening up curves and just general principles on moldings. A butt chisel, it's really heavy and you can get in there real tight and clean things up. And you can't forget a mortise chisel for digging a hole. These are excellent as well. Chisels would be my second. My number 3 item is going to be your starting plane, your 4 plane, your jack plane, your number 5. They have numerous names. Of course, you could have something like a Miller Falls or a Stanley number 5. They're great. And the older school wooden planes. These are used to take your twist and your wane out of your board. And you'll hear it cut and skip and cut and skip. And once I get a complete chip out of it, I would check it for square and go from there. Alright, my number 4 would be my number 7 or my number 8. My joiner plane or my tri-plane. Same thing. 7/8 tri joiner. Okay, they're right in the same range. They're long bodied. You would take a 2000 shaving. The bottoms are dead flat. And the idea of this is to get the board true. Absolutely flat and true. There you go. My number 5 in my top 10 is my number 4 or my smoother plane. Short body, flat sole, and these you take a thou or less than a thou shaving with. I've got Miller Falls, Stanley, Coffin smoothers. I love them all, and they're great planes. And this would put the surface for finish on. They did not have sandpaper in the old days, and the only way you could get it was by knife edge. Let's see if this Miller took a little edge here. There you go with the Miller. Stanley. The Miller's a high knob. Stanley the low. and your shavings are literally see-through. Alright, number 6 on the list, squares. Forgive the noise and the change of clothes. I lost some of my footage, so we're doing this again. Alright, good squares. I've got a set of Stanley, 4, 6, and an 8, and a combination, little 6-inch combination. I couldn't do what I do without them. They're good for checking your joinery and squareness and how tight your joints are. The combination you can check depth with and get a guesstimate where to get your depth from. You can use it as a marking gauge and draw a line. When you're shopping for a square, find a square, get you a good straight edge, take it on one side, draw you a line, flip the square, get right at it again, draw the line. Those lines should have exactly the same distance or be dead on top of each other, and that's how you tell if a square is a square. Okay, my number 7 would be the Ryoba saw. It's an Eastern saw, cuts on the pull, got fine teeth and coarse teeth. One's for rip, one's for crosscut. Number 8, marking knife and pencil. You can cut to the line, you can cut half the line, or you can cut all the line, depending on the type of wood you're working with. It kind of gives you a little bit of play, how close you want the joinery. Marking knife. Pointed marking knife, it's flat like a chisel on one side, bevel on this side. It has 2 edges. I can cut left or right-handed with it. I can cut on either side with it. My number 9 would be the router plank. I use a Stanley number 71, and I could flatten the bottom, and it takes the undulation out that the saw or the chisel may leave. You're into inlays, and you've got your inlay up there. Draw your inlay. You can't do this with a router. You cannot get the fine tips with a router like you can with a chisel. You take a chisel and mark that out and get you a little bit of a chisel wall down inside of there. Then once you had the waste left in the middle, once you had a little depth, set the router plane up there, clean it out. Number 10, last and not least, the marking gauge. You have wheel type that are nice, old Stanley 97. You've got pen type. Pen type are quick and dirty, but the pen is really good on the end grain. You have double pins, double knife blades. You can set that to the width of your chisel, say your mortise chisel, and set up your tenon. Cut it up with your saw, and you're good to go. Alright folks, that's all I got for the top 10. Number 11, music. You have to have music. Wouldn't be a shop without it. Whatever your flavor is, helps it go by, makes it much easier. That's a good starter set. You can do about anything in the world. Make any kind of cabinetry, joinery you want to with that set of 10 tools. Most of the stuff that's pre-World War II is good quality. It was built for a man to work and make a living with. It wasn't very costly, and he could purchase it and it would go. That's why you see so much old Stanley and Miller Falls and stuff like that. It's still around. The old wooden planes are still around, but the irons in the wooden planes were hand forged by a smith. You know, stuff was put together well, not quite like today. Thanks, Chad. One other big tip, sharp. Whatever your method is, find it. Scary sharp method, machine, Japanese water stones, anything. Pick it and keep your items razor sharp. They will be your friend, and your woodwork will be a lot less of a hassle. Believe me. If it's not sharp, take time to sharpen it before you go to cutting it. You'll be glad you did. Thanks, Chad. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time. That's Dave's Top 10 on traditional. All right? Have a good one.